Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Team Unity, our discussion which we have regularly every week. We're coming to you live on a Monday from 7, well, we're a few minutes late, but we're here nonetheless to continue the conversation that started late last year. And the, 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 the fact that our country is at the stage where we want it to move forward. Everyone is complaining about things not as good as it ought to be, and we want things better for our country. The answer from a community standpoint is agriculture, agriculture, agriculture. Now, last year we started this discussion, and I brought in this young lady who has this wonderful program going on. She is back with me, and we want to continue this discussion. We'll not go much longer, but Miss Mistress Petra Carbon George has been a household name. She's quickly becoming a household name in Dominica, especially when it comes to agriculture and the export of our produce, getting Dominica back to the place where we ought to be. Um, Petra, welcome and happy New Year to you. Welcome to
Hi.
as we continue the discussion on the opportunities and possibilities that are available in the agricultural sector.
Yeah. Good night, Mr. Carlos, Mr. Charles. Thanks for having me again. It's always a great pleasure to be with you. Um, Happy New Year to everybody. I hope this year will bring us lots of prosperity, especially in the agricultural sector, as we aim to go back to the soil and be financially independent or financially free. As we remember, agriculture used to be a big thing back in the 80s and early 90s while I was growing up as a child. So tonight,
That,
I just want to just continue on that trend to encourage people to come on board. The vision for Dominica, going back into the agricultural sector.
that's very good. And in late last year when we were speaking, you were telling us of the program that you started where you're encouraging persons to ship produce from Dominica out to you, as well other persons in the diaspora. How has that been working on? What is the reception like from the Dominicans by and large?
Well, I have a few interactions with some Dominicans. I spoke with a farmer that has some land and he's willing to plant. I spoke to another gentleman who is doing a small scale farming, but he's interested in planting what is in demand and helping with the vision. And other people as well, people who are not farmers, but they are seeking to buy from the farmers and then send to me. They reach out as well. So we're starting something. It's slow, but it's building up, and that's a good thing. It's a positive way forward for it. I also speak to some people who do produce, not just agricultural produce, but the products as well. So I have
You added products.
yeah, the products as well, like Toloma and cocoa sticks, and what's the other one? Farine.
Farine.
Yes. So she's doing this on a scale, and she's trying to grow into a bigger scale to do exports. And so I'll be working with her as well as soon as things get up and running properly on a larger scale. One of the things I have an issue with is the transportation for the
Right.
car.
I was coming to that. I was going to ask you what sort of problems are you experiencing with the cargo? I know. Well, shouldn't say I know. I'm assuming, seeing that you're also doing this airline business, that you're doing your stuff by air, and
Yeah,
there's only so much that you can move by air.
yeah. And then, by using the aircraft, it's more expensive
Mhm.
to bring up the cargo up here. So looking at other ways of using the sea, and see how we can tap into that resource as well, which will make it cheaper, and be able to export more on a larger scale. Because when the supermarkets start asking for 25 boxes of banana,
Mhm.
15 boxes of plantain, by the time you put this on the plane is already filled to capacity. And that's just one supermarket. And here, three supermarkets willing to work with me.
Mhm.
So transportation is very important. So that is one thing area that I'm working on. I'm also calling on the government, if they could hear, or people who know people in the government, to assist us out there in the diaspora who's trying to bring Dominica to a different level. And we are out there trying to market our local produce. So give that
Um,
assistance.
well, I know I have listened to the leader of government business speaking some times ago, some few days ago, and he mentioned the international airport being the answer to our agricultural problems. What would you say to that?
Well, in my opinion, I don't think so. I don't think so, because doing economics in school, um, it shows, like during our studies, and we're doing export and import of countries, and then the GDP. If you're not exporting things from your resources from your country, and you're only importing, then that is already giving a negative, because that means you don't have the spending power like somebody else. And I
So,
don't think the airports, I mean, as good as the airport is, I just think it is seasonal. And yes, it will have a little boom for the season, like Christmas season, summer. People tend to travel more frequently during the holidays. But on the year round, we will not have that boost year round, because we only have, yes, we have the natural resources. People come to see waterfall, but we also have to remember that there are other Caribbean countries who have the same we have to offer. So we have to try to offer something
right.
more than just our waterfalls and our lakes. And because there are other countries who have the same thing as us. So I believe
Mhm.
that agriculture should be our main focus, especially as Dominica, the country in itself. We have the water, we have the best soil. We right there, we like the center of the Caribbean. We can ship north, ship south. Like we're right in the center there. So we're just perfectly located for agriculture. And so we should take advantage of that. And I believe that if we take advantage of agriculture, we'll see a better economic change in Dominica than the airport. The airport is not even ready as yet, and might take 3, 4 years before it's ready. What do we do during that time? Do we just sit down and lay back and until the airport is built? And people still have to
Now,
leave. People have to survive.
mhm. This is exactly what I'm thinking. Because right now, Dominica is in trouble. Dominica is in serious trouble. And I can see agriculture as being an answer to a lot of the problems and helping our people to remain independent, to get financially free. So
Exactly.
I'm just thinking to say that a plane is going to solve our agricultural problems. I don't see that being feasible, because when you compare our imports don't come by air. If we want to
Exactly.
if we want to balance the scale, into you mentioned the GDP. If you want to balance the trade scale, we have to look to see how we can export as much as possible to bring it to the level of our imports. So we get the
Exactly.
imbalance trade scale that we have now, to bring it back to a level playing field, and move it to the point where our exports will be greater than our imports, get our individual people in the, not just the farmers who we want to get back to the soil, but even housewives. You have a home. There are creative ways with if your backyard, if your backyard gardening, that you can produce and provide income for your home, additional income for your home, because a farm is not something that you have to stay in 24/7. That is something you can do additionally to your regular. Of course, there are persons who be doing it on a commercial level and be doing it constantly, and you have many acres to tend. You have to check this, check that, so you have to focus on that solely. But others can also focus on that as well.
Exactly. I just believe if we see agriculture, we just see it in a different aspect, and we just see it as a way to increase the economy in Dominica, or to give spending power to the people, and people start seeing it as a trade, then I think people will think differently of it. Because one of the things I say, to get the young people energized and
Mhm.
excited about agriculture, is to bring back the elderly people who use agriculture in the 80s to build their homes, to buy vehicles, to send their children to school without taking loans, and to acquire these things, and to show people like agriculture, you can use agriculture to acquire the things you want in life without taking these burdens, these loan burdens. Because imagine you're working a regular job from 8 to 4, and you
Mhm.
take a mortgage, and you have to pay that mortgage for 30 years. The whatever you build is not yours, in that 30 years. It's the bank, it belongs to the bank.
Right.
But if you incorporate agriculture, even if you're working 8 to 4, and it's fortunate for us, we can still work and go home and do that backyard gardening and make something out of it. And so just imagine you just going to work 8 to 4, and then when you go home, you water your scythe, your peppers, your whatever you have, and then you can take that to the market and make that free $400 on the weekend, apart from your regular job.
Right.
Now, if people start seeing it in that aspect, and yes, everybody cannot plant, and I agree. Somebody told me, but if everybody go in agriculture, then what's going to happen? And that is true. Everybody cannot go into agriculture, but everybody can contribute towards agriculture, because we have to figure out a way to be seasonal, but to be consistent in what we're growing. Because if we're going to export, we cannot export half of the year and the other half do not export. We have to find a way to be consistent in manufacturing or producing whatever we have to
Mhm.
export to the outside market, regional, even the local market as well,
Mhm.
because everybody going to eat. And I know I have heard of the hustlers who are struggling to get produce to go to Antigua. They're struggling to get produce to go to Guadeloupe. Can you imagine if people who are in Dominica go back to the soil? It's not only for me, but for other people as well. There are a lot of Dominicans in Antigua, Dominicans in Guadeloupe, Dominicans in Saint Martin who used to do huckstering as well, and they complaining now that there is nothing to take from Dominica to sell in these countries. So it's not only in U.S. Virgin Islands, but when you go back to the soil, you have a larger market. And yes, we do not have a structure where we have people have something in place for the produce to sell. But that is where I come in. That is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to establish a market for us where even when I pass on, because I don't know how long I'm here on this earth, like
Yeah.
somebody else can take up the mandate and continue it because it's already established. So it don't just die with me when I move on, or say I get something else to do. Somebody else can come in and do it. So we have to think on that level. We have to take back our independence. We cannot rely on people all the time to do stuff for us. We have to start recognizing that we have the power within ourselves to do what it takes to survive and to create a better future for our children. And I think agriculture is one of the ways that we can do it. That is something that the world must eat. Everybody must eat. People eat different things, but everybody must eat. So we have to go and see what is it that Saint Martin demand. What is it that Guadeloupe demand that we can give? What is it that St. Kitts demand for us? What is it that Totola demand from us? What is it that Martinique would like from us? And so if we have people in the place, in the government structure, who have our best interests at heart, I believe these are the things that they should be doing. And I have to say kudos to the program I see going on now with the white potatoes. This is well, good, and well. But what
It
else
doesn't
can we
stop,
do
it,
for the
it doesn't
farmer?
stop there. It should
It
not
it
stop.
don't.
It should not stop there.
No, it don't. We have to learn to create other markets for our farmers. We the farmers want to know that, hey, when I plant, can I sell my produce?
Right.
Am I able to bring my produce to somebody and show that is the income I can get? Or do I have to go to the market and struggle? And if it's not sold, I have to throw it away.
For example, a product such as peppers or lettuce.
Yeah,
If I have 10 beds of lettuce that I plant and they're ready, are the hotels going to take my lettuce? Are the supermarkets going to take all my lettuce to sell? If I bring it what happens then? Um, is Dexia putting things in place to work with? Because I see Dexia as the produce marketing arm of government. Are they doing enough to encourage farmers to go back to the soil so that they would have no fears in selling their products?
I don't know how Dexia operates. I think when I was Dominica, what they did is if you put in the order, they will reach out to the farmer, and they would ask the farmers that they have contact with, can they supply
Right.
this. But there is not something in place where I think we could structure it better. We could structure it better where Dexia, or if somebody else wants to take that on board, we could do it as well as a corporation. Have these crops coming in, and the people know, hey, if I have 20 tons of cargo, I can bring it there. I don't have to. The Dexia's call to say they need two boxes of peppers, and then I go look for the two boxes of peppers for them. I want to know when I plant my peppers, if I have 30 boxes of peppers, I can just bring it to Dexia
And they will find somebody
and they will
to,
find somebody to buy the papers. Because
Mrs.
if people don't see it that way, then they won't go back to the soil, because it's a lot of energy to put into to grow stuff.
Mrs. George, I have decided to lead by example. I am a young person. Typically, we young people don't not have not do not have any interest in agriculture. But I have looked at things the way things are going, and I've decided to go back to the soil. One of the things we may have to look at is, and especially for young persons, persons like myself and younger, is how do we make agriculture sexy? Sorry for sounding a bit controversial, but how do we make the agriculture be attractive
Attractive.
to the young persons who we want to come on and keep the cycle growing? Because the persons who are the stalwarts in the agricultural sector, after they pass on, if there's no continuity in passing on the tips and the knowledge and everything that they are aware of, it's gonna die.
Exactly.
So we need to find ways on getting the young people attracted to that sector and use a lot of the techniques that are widely available online and
Exactly.
apply it to our market.
I think one other thing to Mr. Charles is duty free. I think duty free concession um, should be something that is available for every farmer that wants to go back to the soil. I believe that's my just giving my opinion. I believe one of the ways that the government can help in that is to have that. I'm not sure if they have an association for agriculture. I know the fisheries have something for fishermen, but I'm not sure for agriculture. So I'm just throwing it out there. If I'm wrong, correct me. If
Mhm.
somebody knows, let me know that there's something going on there. And if there is something going on there, they need to improve on it. I believe that if people want to go back to the soil, that it should have a association that have the farmers register with them, and they ensure that the farmers, yes, have the land, and if they are leasing from somebody, that they have the lease of the person saying, yes, I lease that person my land for the next 20, 30 years, whatever it is. And then that person, because they are registered, and they keep make sure that they visit the farm, that the person not getting duty-free concession just because they registered and giving it to somebody or selling it off to somebody else. So
Right.
if you have this there, and then we have the machinery, they are expensive. And I think that when you bring down like your tillers, and so the duty on it, make this thing duty free for the farmers that are registered in the corporation, that they could go back to the soil, till the soil, make it easier for them, leaving that manual labor behind. People are not attracted to working hard, they want to work smarter.
Look smart,
So we
yes.
have to incorporate that type of thing, helping our young people to work smarter on the soil, and giving them that duty-free concession to get these type of equipments to come down. And like for trucks or pickup trucks, farmers should have access to duty-free on trucks, because when you go to your farm, you don't want to be paying somebody every time to move your cargo for you. You should be able to have that type of vehicle that can move your cargo for you.
You
And
want to
so farmers,
you
exactly, Carlos.
you want to
These are
get
the
back
type
to
of
the
things.
days where it used to have the line of vehicles from West Indies oil to the port along the Cape.
Exactly.
Line of traffic, everybody wants to bring. Do you know that the price of bananas now on the local market is almost as comparable to when we used to sell it to the UK way back when?
Exactly.
A
Because
banana is almost
it's
$5
like
finger.
gold now. Exactly, because it is in demand, because a lot of people is not planting it, and that's what happened when these things are scarce. You go to school, they teach you when things are scarce, the demand and the price is raised, because it is now in demand. There are not a lot of people doing it, and so I understand that people have to make their living, but I'm just saying we have to figure out a way to take the knowledge from our old people, our elderly people, and to use that knowledge to better ourselves in the agricultural sector. You ask again, Carlos, how we can make agriculture attractive to the young people. And another way we can make agriculture attractive to the young people is by going out there and speaking to them. Some people still have the concept that agriculture is a dirty job, and they don't see the value in agriculture. But they forget that their grandparents use agriculture to send them to school. If you show people how they can use and manage what they have and invest it, because agriculture don't take a lot of um, investment. You could buy a tin of lettuce seeds or cucumber seeds for, let's say, $100, I think, maybe now, or maybe more. But in that tin, you could plant so much that that tin can make you $4,000 or $5,000 if you plant it correctly, and then if you have the market to sell when your crop come, you could make $4,000, $5,000 out of that tin. And these are things you can do at your backyard if you have one. You could do your cucumbers at your backyard, your lettuce at your backyard, and make that type of money on the market. It's $5 a head of lettuce. I believe the government have to liaise with the tourism department when it comes to the restaurant, put something in place, a price control as what it is, that is the price you sell lettuce to any restaurant, any hotel, that when somebody come, they just get is what you want. There's a fee, a standard fee, as to what. So people already know what their projection is. They already say, okay, if I have 100 heads of lettuce, this is what I'm going to get when I sell it to the hotel. And not seasonal. Like sometimes you go to the hotel, they tell, oh, $3 we can give you now. And next time when they don't have enough, they'll tell you, okay, we'll take it for 5. So, in the inconsistency, we need to have a little more price control on our agricultural produce in Dominica. And we need to sell it sexy, or attractive to the young people. Young people, they love things, they love holidays, they love gadgets. We have to put it in that way. People want to use what's the name? No, you
social.
don't have to use the hose to water. You use
Yes,
that
yes. There,
timer.
there's drip irrigation.
Exactly.
The other type of irrigation where you put your stuff on a timer and you don't even have to be present on the farm. There are many technologies that are available for irrigation and farming. So yes, when you compare stuff that is done in other countries, bigger countries with lots of flat lands and so on, these guys take agriculture seriously. So while we're struggling with a fork and a pickaxe and a hoe, the guys over there they have a tractor with the attachments and they're driving up and down the farm. What takes us 3 days a week to do, it takes them an hour
Exactly. So we
on
have to
a
introduce
much
this
bigger
type
on
of
a
thing.
much bigger scale. So we have to
Exactly.
look at start implementing those technologies so we can make things easier and be higher productive, more
Yeah, we need to
more
increase our
yield.
production in Dominica. But we have to have that market available for the farmers as well, because we don't want the people to go to plants and then they waste. They have to throw away what they produce. So
Mhm.
we have to. The government is there, and I always tell people the government is there to make policies and implement stuff and make other countries reach out to other countries, because they can do that. It is in their capacity to do that, government with government, to see how we could best. I never understand why we have CARICOM and we're not using the the CARICOM benefits. I mean, when the
Mhm.
CARICOM, there are some things
Indeed.
Dominica can plant and sell to the other CARICOM countries. We know Grenada is good at spice and nutmegs and these things, and no other country really don't do that, because they is the one who really do that. What can we do in Dominica that we alone can have that to sell to the other Caribbean countries and to the regional and international markets? I saw one of those days on the news, not in last year. Antigua, I think, is buying our plantain, like we selling our plantains to Antigua, and I think they're using it to make plantain chips to export to Europe.
A value added product.
Exactly. I mean, we could do these things. Then again, who's investing in this with the young people? Yes, we have some people who are doing it at their home on a small scale, but we have to put things in place for the people to expand themselves. Some people cannot expand because they don't have the capital, they don't have the monies to do it. So that's where the government comes in to give that duty-free concession and give soft loans, 1% interest loans to the people who already show that they can do it, who have been doing it for a while and have a good track record, to help them expand so that they can export to the regional markets and sometimes the international markets as well.
So let me thank those who are tuned in. I see we have some comments. Thanks to those who are commenting. I see Ricardo is saying give them incentive that's tangible. Yes, I agree with you. What I will say is that a TUD government will lead by example. I will not go into too much details, but it will be a policy position from a from our standpoint where we'll be leading by example. All right. So Ricardo, have no fear. This is something that we are earnestly thinking about, hence why we're having this discussion tonight. And thank you to the others who commented. David, thank you for being there. Natasha, thanks for joining us. So, Petra, Dominica, the Isle offers 165 rivers. What do you think of water coming from Antigua?
Carlos, personally, I think that's crazy. Antigua has water, no rivers. I stayed in Antigua, I think, for a year and something when I just finished high school. And there ain't no way we taking is Antigua has distilled water, and we have fresh, water. We have water that coming out from, we call it Dominica, the source, the source, the earth, fresh. So importing water from Antigua is just crazy. That's just crazy. I'm telling you. We Dominicans need to understand the value of our country. We have to understand the value of our resources that we have. And so doing, we have to do something. In order for Dominica to come out from where it is now, the people have to stand up and take a stand and say enough is enough. There's some things that should never come into our country. Take for example Barbados. I study Barbados a little bit. When I went to Barbados, I asked a lot of questions because I saw things on the shelf that say made in Barbados, made in Barbados. So I was asking the people. And one of the things the gentleman said is that certain things that are grown all year in Barbados, you cannot import it under no circumstances, unless if they have a drought or they have, like a hurricane pass and
Mhm.
destroy the crops, and it's going to take a little while for the crops to come back into production. And so they open a window so that you could import these things for that time. But as soon as the time comes, they close and you cannot import any. So the money stays right within Barbados itself. Do you know that the chicken that you buy in Barbados is grown in Barbados? And
Yes,
all the eggs,
not only in Barbados, the chicken that you buy, the local chicken that you buy in Dominica, largely comes from Barbados. Barbados is one of the producers of chicken, the chicks
yeah,
that we use.
yeah, exactly. And
So
so they
yes,
do all their,
I'm aware of it.
they don't import chicken. The last time I was there and I asked the gentleman, he told me they don't import chicken. All the chicken in the supermarkets are locally grown. So they don't import foreign chicken. So that we right here in the Caribbean we can see how agriculture have helped other sister countries. And so it's because of the system they have in place to let that happen. And so we have to take example and watch. I watched one of last year. We have dashing being grown. I think it's in Grenada. They just get that market for someplace in Europe for they ship how much 1,000 pounds of dashings out. I mean, come on, where are we? I mean, agriculture is booming everywhere. I just see a program in Bahamas. Not too long ago, they have a program in Bahamas. Helping the farmers to grow locally. And Dominica, we can do it. We can do it. We have to work with each other and we can do it. I think at this point in Dominica, the way forward to really boost up our economy and boost up our spending power is the way forward is agriculture. And if we take agriculture within a year, I think we will have a better economy if we put all our resources like in agriculture for a little while. Because the airport, yes, it's coming, but it's not there as yet. And I understand based on my watching and what is happening that most of the prime land in Wesley area, I heard some of the farmers said that it's being destroyed to put the international airport. And so I have to wonder sometimes, do we have our priority straight in Dominica? Because it takes 4 years to build the airport, and we're not sure if it's going to bring in that type of revenue. Um, Whereas we have our land already and we have the farmers there and we could invest in them and we're sure that we could export and make that type of revenue. So I'm just calling on Dominicans to just listen and let's go back to the soil. Feel free to contact me. Let's make something happen for ourselves and let us help each other to build Dominica. And that's all I want to say tonight.
Petra, do you have a contact that you would like to share with our guests, people or
Um,
viewers, persons who come across this video? Can they reach out to you through Facebook? Can they reach out to you through? Do you have a website that persons
yeah,
can?
yes, I do. I have a website, judgeshipping.com. I
Okay.
did it, judgeshipping.com. And my telephone number is 340-423-7502. And also you could reach me on Facebook on the Petra Carbon George, or you could go to Judge Shipping Agency and Things LLC. I have a Facebook page for them as well. So that's the ways that someone can reach me. You could do WhatsApp, my number. You could use WhatsApp and WhatsApp me or call me on WhatsApp. Messenger as well. You could leave a message on Messenger as well. I'll leave your contact information and I'll get back to you. And let us make something happen. I believe if we really go back in agriculture, the reason why I keep pressing agriculture, because somebody might say, Petra, why all of a sudden? Because coming to St. Croix has made me realize and understand the importance of Dominica and how much we take our country for granted. And so I went to the market yesterday, not yesterday, Saturday. My mom came here with me and she wanted some bananas, and we went to get the bananas, and they weigh in the bananas in St. Croix. They were in the bananas in St. Croix. And we got a little bunch, I was gonna tell around 10, and there was medium-sized bananas, 10 medium-sized bananas for 10 US.
Oh wow.
The weight is $2 a pound. So just imagine the possibilities. And St. Croix don't have the type of soil, and I see the farmers trying so hard. They don't have water like us, and they collect the waters. They work so hard to do the agriculture. And I'm just sitting down and I'm just saying, we have everything in Dominica. Everything in Dominica. What other people trying to have, we have it. And yet still we're not boosting up our agricultural sector. What is wrong with us?
Petra, time is quickly coming to an end for which we have allotted for this program. This is part 2. We have an agricultural thrust here at Team Unity Dominica. You are an agricultural lady. We will be engaging with you again sometime in the future. But I'd like to thank you for joining us here on this platform, and thank you to our viewers for tuning in. We will look at if you have any questions. We will of course respond to them. But thank you for tuning into Team Unity Dominica's program. Agriculture, we believe, is the answer to a lot of the issues. Agriculture, manufacturing, and to some extent tourism. We will not leave the other sectors behind, but the emphasis has to be placed on agriculture. On behalf of the members of the team, we'd like to thank you for tuning in. Have a pleasant evening, everybody.
Good night.